All right, first and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all you fellow laborers out there continuing to push this gospel in all true faith and in sincerity. Yeah, so if you're aware of the current events that's taking place throughout the world right now, you will come to the conclusion that all signs point to America's destruction. All right, which the prophets of the Lord here at Great Millstone have been prophesying ever since 2007, when the elders and the apostles first came on the scene, even until this present time. And we pretty much draw our inspiration from the scriptures, which clearly prophesies the downfall of America and the fact that America will be taken in this upcoming World War III. All right, when the smoke clear, America will be left desolate. And you got people, all right, even on my job, you got people discussing this situation, showing, real concerns about this thing. You got the Russia and Syria conflict, North Korea and China, which all these nations is going to come together and shoot those missiles on America, including their own allies. And these things are spoken of in the scriptures, all right? You don't even have to be into the prophecies in the Bible, per se, to understand what's going on. And why is that? Because the Heavenly Father is making things more and more clearer as we move forward and basically to the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, all right? The fall of the so-called white man and his kingdom, America, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures. And you're not going to find the word America in the Bible. Why? Because the Bible is a hidden book, a dark book of parables and allegories. But that word Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon, it identifies with America. When you go into that word Babylon, it takes you back to the Hebrew word Babal, which means confusion. And when you look at this place, it's full of confusion. You got people eating out of trash cans, living on the streets, yet they'll pay a guy $100 million to shoot a basketball. Or you go on a game show and win a boatload of cash. All right, you approach a woman and you got to seriously consider if it's a man or a woman. Now that's confusion. Okay? And right now you got people aware of what's going on. They can see the writing on the wall, so to speak. Because when the prophets first hit the scene and the men of the Lord dealing with these prophecies, a lot of people would thumb their nose up at the notion that America is, on the verge of being destroyed, famines coming, uprising and sedition of the people. People actually scoffed at that, all right, and laughed us to scorn. But now you got people really considering it. Why is that? Because the Heavenly Father is making everything more and more clearer. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into some scriptures, all right? This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie." Yeah, so this vision concerning America's downfall and the things you see and taking place is speaking right now, all right? Like I mentioned earlier, you got people on my job and all over the place discussing this crisis going on between America and Syria, all right, and the threats of war. And people is deeply concerned about this. It says, "Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." Yeah, and it has tarried for the men that has been patiently waiting on these prophecies to spring forth. All right? But when those missiles be shot off into the ends of the world, and when they hit ground zero here in America, it will not tarry, because the scriptures tell you that America will be taken in 1 hour. So although these prophecies has taken pretty much over 2,000 years to come to its perfection, when the destruction comes, it's only going to take 1 hour for America to be destroyed. And people can see it. They can see it coming. Even if they want to deny it, these people can actually see it's more and more a reality, all right? It's not just a thought, okay, or opinion. People can see that it's teetering more toward a reality of America being destroyed, all right? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 5, and Yeah, this is Daniel chapter 5 and verse 26. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Yeah, and when you go into this story, you read this whole chapter, this is dealing with ancient Babylon, all right? And there was a finger that appeared at a banquet, all right, that the king held, Belshazzar, and it pretty much wrote three words, Mene, Tekel, Perez, all right? And the first word, Mene, the interpretation of that word was the Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Yeah, and you see it now. That was written for our understanding today because America is known as the daughter of Babylon, pursuant to Isaiah the 47th chapter. So the Most High have finished this kingdom and numbered her days. All right, America days is numbered and people can see it. All right. Verse 27, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Yeah, so the Lord has weighed America, all right, has pretty much judged this country and has weighed her actions. And the Lord have come to the conclusion that America is guilty and found worthy to be punished. And it's going to come by way of a nuclear holocaust, all right? And the reason why I brung that scripture out, dealing with ancient Babylon, because America is known as the daughter of Babylon, all right? And when you go into the scriptures, let me get it real quick, the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things are written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So yeah, the things that was written aforetime, which what we just read in the book of Daniel, was written for our learning, all right? And just like ancient Babylon days was numbered and there was a writing on the wall, now here in modern day Babylon, you can see the writing on the wall that America will indeed fall short in this upcoming World War III, man. All right? Now this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, starting at verse 1. Thus said the Lord power, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. Yeah, and what's that destroying wind? Those nuclear missiles. All right? Because what's another terminology for nuclear missiles? Nuclear winds. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to pretty much sweep this place clean. Verse 2, and I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Yeah, so all these different countries is going to come up against America. It's like surrounding someone, all right? Like I mentioned earlier, even America's allies is going to turn against her. Verse 3, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. Yeah, and this is dealing with the modern day bow, which is those silos, which you keep a missile in. And the modern day arrow is the missiles, all right? And against him that lifted himself up in his Brigidine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which is America, right? That word Chaldeans mean magicians, and they that are thrust through in her streets, all right? For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Yes, because pretty much all this war is happening to pretty much avenge Israel, okay? The Lord is bringing all these countries together to slaughter each other to avenge Israel, which is you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. Yeah, the Lord is avenging Israel. He will render unto her recompense. So the Lord going to pay Babylon the great back. Why? For pushing transgenderism, giving faggots and lesbians rights, all right, which is clearly against the scriptures. All right? So I'm going to end off with one more scripture. This is Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8. Therefore wait upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up against the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation. Yes, so the Lord is going to gather these nations, which you see happening. All right? And he's doing it so he can pour out his indignation, which means his righteous anger among them. Even all my furious anger for all the earth shall be divided with the fire of my jealousy. Yeah, and the fire is those nuclear missiles. It's not only going to hit America, but different parts of the world going to be destroyed in that nuclear war, all right? So that's pretty much it. All signs point to the destruction of America. Until the next time I say, Shalom.